In every quiet corner of life, there are simple things waiting to be transformed into wonder. What we often call waste. An empty bottle, a piece of plastic, a forgotten container, can, with just a little imagination, become a source of joy, beauty, and inspiration. Welcome, dear friends, to TERAFLORA Studio, a space where creativity blooms gently, like flowers after the rain, and where every project carries not only color, but also meaning. Here, we believe that a garden is not simply made of soil and plants, but also of stories, emotions, and the touches of human hands. Each recycled craft is more than decoration. It is a small poem, written in shapes and shades, speaking softly to remind us that nothing is ever truly wasted. What once was discarded finds a new life, and in that transformation, we find hope and peace. Before we begin, it is important to share this with you. This content has been thoughtfully created with the assistance of AI. Just as recycled bottles can be reshaped into art, technology, too, can be reshaped into a tool for storytelling and inspiration. What you hear and see is the harmony of human creativity and digital support, coming together to spark ideas that you can bring into your own home and garden. If these moments bring you comfort, or if you feel a spark of inspiration as you listen, we warmly invite you to stay with us. Subscribe to TERAFLORA Studio, not as a formality, but as a way of joining a community that believes in gentle living, creative making, and the quiet magic of everyday transformations. Together, let us create beauty from the simplest of things. There is something almost magical about the way sunlight glimmers on a path lined with playful bottle ants. At first, you might not even recognize them for what they are. Their bodies, made from the simplest of things, discarded plastic bottles, shine with a coat of cheerful paint. Blue, red, yellow, sometimes even stripes of green. Their wire legs perch carefully on the gravel as if they are marching with purpose, carrying with them not crumbs of food, but the spirit of imagination. This idea, the recycled bottle ant parade, is more than decoration. It is a gentle reminder that joy can grow from the humblest materials. Imagine a Saturday afternoon when the sky is bright, and you gather your old bottles that would otherwise end up in the trash. With a pair of scissors, a splash of paint, and some sturdy wire, suddenly you are not just recycling. You are creating companions for your garden. Each ant has its own character. One may look curious, another mischievous, and yet another might seem to smile at passersby. What makes this project special is how approachable it is. You do not need expensive materials, nor do you need to be an artist. The curve of a bottle already provides the perfect shape. Add some bottle caps for eyes, a bit of hot glue to hold the pieces together, and before you know it, you have a small army of colorful critters ready to parade across your garden. Children love being part of this process. Let them choose the colors, paint the faces, and decide how each ant should look. It becomes less of a craft and more of a shared memory, a moment of laughter and bonding under the open sky. When placed along a garden path, the ants seem to come alive. Their glossy shells catch the sun. Their wire legs throw tiny shadows on the stones. And as you walk past, you can almost believe they are on their way to some secret celebration hidden deep in the flower beds. Visitors will pause, smile, and perhaps even ask how they, too, can bring such life to their gardens. In a world that often feels rushed, creating a bottle ant parade invites us to slow down, to see possibility where others see only waste, to celebrate the small joys that make a garden not only beautiful, but also full of stories. And maybe, just maybe, the next empty bottle you hold will no longer feel like trash, but the beginning of your own tiny parade. There is a certain peace that comes when the morning sun touches the surface of still water. Imagine standing by a garden pond, the air fresh, the reflections soft, and there among the ripples floats a bloom that was never meant to be. A lotus flower, its delicate petals shimmering with light, each curve lovingly cut from what was once just a plastic bottle. Beside it, a small green frog rests, as if pausing to enjoy the silence of the day. The floating bottle lotus and frog is a project born not only of recycling but of imagination. At first glance, you might think such beauty requires special tools or professional skill. But in truth, it begins simply with a pair of scissors, a few empty bottles, and a willingness to see possibility. Clear bottles give the petals their translucent glow, catching light the way real lotus blossoms do. A cap painted yellow becomes the heart of the bloom. For the frog, you can use a small toy or shape one from lightweight plastic, resting it on a bottle leaf cut into a gentle curve. What makes this idea so captivating is not only how it looks, but how it feels. As you float the finished lotus in the water, you sense more than decoration, you sense calm. It is as if the act of transforming waste into something so graceful allows your own heart to slow down. Children, too, are enchanted. They dip their hands into the pond, guiding the petals as they drift, laughing when the frog seems to ride the ripples like a little boat. This is the essence of DIY. Not perfection, but experience. Creating something with your hands, seeing it take form, and sharing the moment with others. Each lotus can be different. Some painted in pinks and purples, others left clear to glow like glass in the sun. You can make just one for a small fountain, or a whole cluster to turn your pond into a floating garden of dreams. The next time you finish a drink, pause before tossing the bottle away. Hold it up to the light and imagine the petals hidden inside, waiting to be cut free. Picture the frog already sitting quietly, ready to bring a smile to your backyard. In that moment, you'll realize that transformation is not only possible, it is already in your hands. Sometimes a garden feels alive not only because of the plants, but because of the small touches we bring into it. Imagine stepping into your backyard one quiet morning. The air is warm, the flowers are blooming, and then, just above the petals, you notice delicate wings catching the light. They look like butterflies, but when you step closer, you realize they are not alive creatures but handmade wonders, born from yesterday's bottles. The plastic bottle butterflies decor is one of those projects that feels like poetry in action. A simple plastic bottle, something we often discard without thought, can become a pair of shimmering wings. With scissors, you cut smooth arcs that curve naturally like butterfly wings. A splash of paint turns them into vibrant companions for your flowers. Blue wings reflect the sky, pink and yellow ones echo blossoms, while some are left transparent to catch and scatter sunlight like tiny rainbows. The process is surprisingly simple, and yet it feels deeply rewarding. Families can gather around a table, old bottles lined up, brushes dipped in bright colors. Children love tracing butterfly shapes, adults enjoy adding delicate strokes, and everyone watches as clear plastic transforms into something magical. It is not just recycling. It is storytelling, shaping something forgotten into a reminder that beauty can always be found. When placed on thin rods or twigs, these butterflies seem to hover above the flower beds. A breeze makes them sway as if alive. From a distance, neighbors may pause, wondering if real butterflies have filled your garden. But the true joy is knowing each one carries the touch of your own hands, the laughter of your family, and the imagination that gave it wings. This project also reminds us of nature's gentle lessons. Butterflies have always symbolized change, growth, and renewal. And here, with each plastic wing, that symbolism comes alive again. What once was trash now becomes a flutter of hope, whispering in the garden light. So the next time you hold an empty bottle, pause and look at it differently. Imagine wings waiting inside, ready to be cut free. Picture them dancing above your flowers, scattering light and joy. With just a bit of time and creativity, your garden can become a stage where even the most ordinary things learn to fly. Sometimes the most unexpected joy in a garden comes not from flowers, but from the shapes that spark our imagination. Picture yourself walking among the blooms and suddenly noticing a small elephant standing proudly in the grass. Its trunk curves upward in greeting, its round body gleams in the sun. Yet it is not stone or metal, it is something far more surprising. An elephant made entirely from plastic bottles. The DIY bottle elephant sculpture transforms what most people throw away into a garden centerpiece filled with character. You start by gathering bottles of different shapes and sizes. A large bottle forms the body, smaller ones become legs, another bottle cap becomes the gentle curve of the trunk. With a bit of glue or wire, they join together into a creature that looks both whimsical and full of life. The beauty is in the details. The rounded textures of the bottles echo the skin of an elephant. And when you add wide floppy ears cut from plastic, the sculpture suddenly comes alive. Painting adds another layer of personality. Some choose bright blues, turning their elephant into a cheerful garden mascot. Others keep parts of the plastic clear, leaving hints of its recycled origin visible. Children love adding painted patterns, perhaps polka dots on the ears or rainbow streaks along the trunk. No two elephants are ever the same, and that is where the magic lies. Building this sculpture is not just crafting. It becomes a shared memory. Families can gather on a weekend afternoon, bottles spread across the lawn, brushes dipped in color. Each piece added is a reminder that creativity often flourishes when resources are limited. From what could have been waste, a new friend emerges, one that makes visitors smile and neighbors stop to admire. When placed in the garden, the elephant stands as more than decoration. It is a symbol of transformation, of seeing potential where others see only trash. It whispers that even the most ordinary materials can become extraordinary when touched with imagination. And every time you pass by, you are reminded of the playful spirit that built it, the laughter, the paint-splattered hands, the joy of creation. So the next time you look at a plastic bottle, try to see the shape of an elephant within it. Let your hands and heart guide the pieces together. And before long, you too will have a gentle giant watching over your garden, turning waste into wonder one bottle at a time. High above the garden, where branches stretch toward the sky, a quiet figure keeps watch. Its wide golden eyes seem to follow you, glowing softly in the afternoon light. At first, you might think it is a real owl, but a closer look reveals a secret. Its feathers are not soft down, but carefully layered strips of plastic, cut and shaped from bottles that once held water or soda. This is the recycled bottle owl art, a guardian born from imagination and patience. Creating this owl begins with something ordinary, a collection of empty bottles. With sharp scissors, each bottle is trimmed into feather-like pieces, long and curved, some wide and others slender. Layered one over another, they form wings and a chest that mimic the textured beauty of real feathers. A round bottle cap becomes a beak, while two larger caps, painted gold or brown, are transformed into piercing eyes. In these simple details, the owl takes life, its personality emerging with every cut and brushstroke. The act of building it is almost meditative. You cut, you arrange, you glue, and slowly the pieces fit together, shaping a creature that feels both whimsical and wise. Families often gather to share in the process. Children paint the feathers in bright hues, while adults assemble the layers with care. There is laughter, paint-streaked fingers, and a sense of pride as the owl slowly perches into being. When placed on a fence, a tree branch, or even a garden bench, the owl becomes more than decoration. It is a storyteller. Visitors pause, curious at first, then delighted when they realize its recycled roots. The owl reminds us that even the things we overlook, plastic bottles scattered and forgotten, hold the potential to become something extraordinary. Owls have always symbolized wisdom, and in this project, they also embody creativity and resourcefulness. The owl stands as a gentle guardian of your backyard, its presence quiet but powerful, as if whispering that beauty often hides in plain sight. So the next time you find yourself holding an empty bottle, imagine the owl within it. See the curve of the feathers waiting to be cut, the glow of its eyes waiting to shine. With patience and imagination, you too can bring a wise companion into your garden, one that turns waste into wonder and silence into inspiration. Beneath the soft shadows of the garden, a family gathers quietly. Not real creatures, but hedgehogs lovingly brought to life from bottles once destined for the trash. Their spines glimmer under the dappled light, each one curled from strips of plastic, catching the sun like tiny sparks. They sit together under shrubs, peeking curiously from the soil as if watching over the garden with playful eyes. The bottle hedgehog family is a DIY project that feels both magical and approachable. It begins with a simple plastic bottle, its base forming the rounded body of the hedgehog. The rest of the bottle is cut into thin strips, curled gently with scissors or heat to form the spiky coat. Suddenly, the plain surface becomes textured, full of character and life. A cap at the end makes the snout, painted in soft brown or black. Add 2 small eyes, and the hedgehog is complete. Adorable, unique, and undeniably charming. What makes these hedgehogs special is how personal they become. Each one carries the mark of its maker. Children love painting their hedgehog in bright colors. Green spines, blue faces, or even rainbow backs. Adults may prefer natural tones, letting the recycled plastic echo the earthy palette of the garden. Together, the family of hedgehogs grows, each with its own personality. The process is as delightful as the result. Imagine sitting outdoors on a weekend afternoon, scissors in hand, the sound of children laughing as they curl strips into spikes. With each cut and brushstroke, the hedgehog slowly takes shape. It is more than crafting. It is slowing down, being present, and finding joy in transformation. Placed beneath shrubs or beside flower beds, these hedgehogs look as though they belong in the garden. Their spines blend with leaves, their faces peek out playfully, surprising visitors who wander by. Some might even pause, bend down, and smile when they realize the secret. These creatures are not from the wild, but from yesterday's bottles. In this small act of recycling, we discover a larger truth: that creativity is not about grand gestures, but about noticing the extraordinary in the ordinary. Each bottle hedgehog reminds us that even the simplest materials can bring warmth, laughter, and life to our everyday spaces. So, the next time you hold an empty bottle, imagine a hedgehog waiting inside. Picture its spines curling, its face peeking out, ready to become part of your own garden family. On the surface of a quiet pond, beauty sometimes appears in the most unexpected form. There, gliding gracefully as if born of nature itself, floats a swan. Its feathers shimmer in the sunlight, its long neck arches with elegance. Yet, this swan is no creature of flesh and bone. It is the artful transformation of discarded bottles, reshaped into something extraordinary. The swan bottle pond art begins with a simple act of imagination. Clear and white plastic bottles are collected, washed, and cut into feather-like shapes. Each feather is layered, overlapping like the real plumage of a swan. The neck is formed from curved plastic sections, strong yet supple enough to mimic the bird's graceful bend. A painted beak adds the final touch, and suddenly, what was once waste now holds the quiet dignity of life. Floating the swan on water brings the creation to life. The sun scatters diamonds across the pond's surface, reflecting off the translucent feathers. Visitors pause, amazed, as if the sculpture truly belongs there among the lilies and ripples. Some may not even notice its recycled roots at first, and when they do, their smiles widen with admiration. What makes this project so meaningful is not just its appearance, but its story. Each bottle in the swan's body once held a drink, once thought to be finished and forgotten. Now, together, they form a symbol of transformation, a reminder that beauty can bloom even from what we choose to discard. Crafting the swan is a patient, meditative experience. Families and friends can work together, cutting feathers, painting details, and assembling parts. The process invites conversation and laughter, creating memories alongside the sculpture itself. Children especially love watching the swan glide across water, their eyes wide with wonder at a creature born from their own hands. When placed on a backyard pond, the swan becomes more than decoration. It becomes a companion for quiet evenings, a centerpiece for gatherings, a reminder that creativity often thrives within limits. And as the water reflects its image, you see not just a swan, but a story of renewal, of hope, of imagination turning the ordinary into the extraordinary. So the next time you walk past a pond, Imagine it alive with swans of your own making. Bottles, scissors, glue, and patience are all you need. With every feather you cut, every piece you place, you give new life to something forgotten, and your pond becomes a stage for wonder. In the heart of a sunlit garden, there is a hum of energy that doesn't come from real wings, but from a whimsical creation of our own making. Floating above blossoms, cheerful bees crafted from recycled bottles bring life, movement, and joy to every corner of the backyard. Their round yellow and black bodies gleam in the sunlight, while transparent wings made from bottle plastic shimmer like glass, catching the wind with playful grace. The Bottlebee Garden Parade is more than just a decoration. It's an invitation to see possibility where we least expect it. A simple bottle, once emptied and forgotten, can be transformed into a vibrant bee with just a few strokes of paint and a touch of imagination. The process begins with cutting the bottle into rounded segments, painting bold stripes across the body, and adding delicate wings from clear plastic. Wire or thin sticks serve as legs and supports, letting the bees fly just above the flowers. The joy comes not only from the finished bees, but also from making them. Imagine a weekend afternoon with brushes dipped in sunny yellows and rich blacks, children laughing as they paint wide-eyed faces on their bees. Parents help twist wire for antennae, while kids proudly decide how high their bees should hover in the flower bed. Each bee carries a unique personality. Some look serious, others mischievous, and a few even smile. Placed in clusters, the bees transform the garden into a buzzing parade. The breeze makes them sway gently, as if alive, dancing in harmony with real pollinators. Visitors pause, charmed by the surprise of seeing such lively companions among the blooms. And when they learn the bees are made from recycled bottles, their admiration grows deeper, proof that even the humblest materials can bring wonder. There is symbolism here too. Bees are reminders of community, hard work, and the importance of caring for our environment. In crafting bottle bees, we echo that spirit, turning waste into something that inspires smiles and conversations. As the sun sets and the bees catch the last golden rays, you realize they are more than DIY crafts. They are quiet guardians of joy, buzzing not with sound but with imagination. And the next time you hold an empty bottle in your hand, you might already see the stripes, the wings, the small smile of a bee waiting to take flight in your own garden parade. In the soft glow of a summer afternoon, the garden comes alive with flashes of red and black. At first, you might think real ladybugs have gathered among the stones. But look closer, and you'll see something even more delightful. Tiny creatures lovingly shaped from recycled bottles, their shells painted bright and glossy, their spots playful and bold. The Ladybug Bottle Collection is a project that transforms the simplest of materials into a cheerful parade of garden guardians. It begins with a plastic bottle, cut and shaped into the round body of a ladybug. A splash of red paint brings the shell to life, while small black circles give it character. Wire legs or small plastic strips serve as feet, and a painted cap becomes the head, complete with wide, curious eyes. Each one is different. Some plump and squat, others slender and tall, but together they form a family that feels alive. What makes these bottle ladybugs so charming is their ability to blend into the garden. Placed on smooth stones or nestled between flowers, they catch the sunlight just like their living counterparts. Visitors might smile when they spot one, and children often reach down to pick them up, surprised at how light and playful they feel. The process of creating them is as joyful as the result. Families can gather around a table, brushes dipped in red and black, laughter filling the air as each person designs their own ladybug. Some might add extra dots, others paint funny faces or even rainbow shells. It becomes less about making perfect replicas and more about celebrating creativity. Beyond their cuteness, these ladybugs carry a gentle reminder. In many cultures, real ladybugs symbolize luck, protection, and joy. And here, their recycled cousins carry an added meaning, that even what we discard can return to us as something beautiful and full of life. When you place them in the garden, it's easy to forget they were once waste. Instead, They stand as bright companions, tiny guardians that bring color and character to every corner of your backyard. And every time you see them, you're reminded of the laughter and care that shaped them. So the next time you finish a drink, don't just throw the bottle away. Hold it up. Picture a ladybug's shell hidden within, waiting for your hands to set it free. In that small act of imagination, you'll discover not only a new decoration but also a new way of seeing the world. Playful, hopeful, and alive. Imagine wandering into a quiet backyard where the afternoon sun glitters softly across the water. The pond ripples gently, and upon its surface swim koi fish, bright, shimmering in shades of red, gold, and pearl white. But here lies the magic. These koi are not born from nature. They are handmade creations, shaped from bottles once emptied and forgotten, now floating with elegance and charm. The bottle koi fish pond display begins simply with an empty plastic bottle. Its smooth shape already hints at the form of a fish. With a pair of scissors, fins and tails are cut from the sides, curving outward like delicate wings. Brushes dipped in bold paints bring the body to life. Fiery red patches, golden streaks, black speckles that mimic real koi patterns. With every stroke, the plain bottle transforms, its recycled roots hidden beneath scales of imagination. Children especially love this project. Sitting outdoors, their laughter mingles with the sound of brushes tapping bottles. Some paint their fish in traditional koi colors, while others experiment with rainbow stripes or glittery patterns. There are no rules, only possibilities. Parents join in too, helping to cut the fins or anchor the fish to small sticks so they can leap just above the water's edge. Together, the family creates not just koi fish, but shared memories that linger long after the paint has dried. When the finished fish are released into the pond, the scene feels enchanted. Sunlight reflects on painted scales, water ripples carry them gently, and the illusion of life becomes real. Guests pause in delight, smiling as the koi drift among lily pads. And when they discover that these elegant swimmers are made of recycled bottles, admiration deepens. It is not only art, but a story of transformation, of seeing beyond waste into beauty. The koi fish carry symbolism too. In many traditions, they represent perseverance, prosperity, and strength. And so, in your garden, they stand as a reminder of resilience, not only of nature, but of human creativity. Each one whispers a lesson, that beauty can be born from what we once overlooked, and that joy flows most freely when shared. So, the next time you hold an empty bottle, look closer. Imagine the fins hidden within, the colors waiting to shine. In your hands lies not just a bottle, but a fish ready to swim into your own backyard pond, carrying with it hope, laughter, and a little bit of magic. There is a quiet magic in the way a snail moves, slowly, gently, with the patience of time itself. And in the corners of a garden, that same spirit can be captured in a simple, charming craft. Meet the bottle snail garden buddy, a whimsical creature born not from nature, but from imagination and a recycled plastic bottle. The process begins with a single bottle. Its rounded body forms the base, while the plastic is cut and curled into a spiral shell that glimmers under sunlight. Painted in soft blues or greens, the shell reflects the natural calm of the garden. A bottle cap becomes the head, with two little stalks for eyes, perhaps fashioned from wire or thin plastic strips. Add a painted smile, and suddenly, the snail is alive, curious, playful, and ready to keep you company along the path. Crafting the snail is as joyful as admiring it. Imagine sitting outside on a bright morning, scissors and brushes scattered across the table. Children giggle as they paint funny faces on their snails, some with wide eyes, others with quirky grins. Parents help shape the shells, twisting strips of plastic into curves that mimic nature's perfect spiral. Each snail carries its own personality, a reflection of the hands that created it. When placed in the garden, these snails bring unexpected delight. They peek out from under plants, rest quietly beside stones, or line up along a path as if on their own little journey. In sunlight, the translucent shells glow softly, making them seem almost alive. Guests often pause to take a second look, charmed by the idea that such life can spring from a discarded bottle. Beyond their cuteness, these bottle snails remind us of something deeper. They echo the lesson of real snails, that there is beauty in slowness, in taking time to notice small wonders, in turning ordinary moments into something extraordinary. Crafting them teaches patience, and keeping them in the garden offers a daily reminder to move gently and live mindfully. So the next time you finish a drink, don't toss the bottle aside. Hold it in your hands and picture the spiral waiting to emerge, the tiny smile eager to brighten your garden. With a little imagination, you can welcome a new companion into your backyard. One that proves joy does not always come quickly, but often grows slowly, just like a snail. In a sunlit meadow, where flowers sway and grasses bend with the breeze, there is often a flash of movement that catches the eye. It might be a shimmer, a glint of light that seems alive. Look closer, and you'll see a dragonfly, yet not one born of nature's hand. This is a dragonfly bottle ornament, a creation born from recycled plastic and imagination, fluttering gracefully above your garden. The beauty of this craft lies in its simplicity. Begin with a clear plastic bottle, its smooth surfaces waiting to be shaped. With scissors, you cut long, sweeping arcs that resemble wings, thin, delicate, and translucent. Painted lightly with hues of blue, green, or even left clear, the wings capture sunlight and scatter it like tiny rainbows. The body is made from the neck or base of the bottle, slender and strong, painted in metallic tones to mimic the iridescence of real dragonflies. Making these ornaments is both joyful and calming. Imagine a sunny afternoon at a garden table, children carefully tracing wing shapes, adults painting slender bodies in shimmering colors. Laughter fills the air as each dragonfly takes on its own character, some bold and fiery in red, others soft and cool in pale blue. It is a project that invites creativity without pressure, where imperfection only adds to the charm. Placed on thin wires or wooden sticks, the dragonflies hover gently above flower beds or along garden paths. A breeze sets their wings in motion, making them seem almost alive. Visitors pause, enchanted by the sight, leaning closer only to realize that these magical creatures are made of something once destined for the bin. It's a quiet revelation. Beauty doesn't always need to be bought. Often, it can be made with our own hands. Dragonflies have long been symbols of transformation and possibility. In turning a bottle into a dragonfly, that meaning deepens. What was overlooked now becomes a reminder of lightness and renewal. They invite us to see our gardens differently, not just as spaces of plants, but as living galleries where imagination and nature intertwine. So the next time you hold a bottle, pause and picture wings waiting inside, delicate and ready to catch the sun. With just a little effort, you too can welcome these shimmering companions into your backyard, where they will dance with the breeze and remind you that magic often lies in the simplest of things. There is something tender about the sight of birds gathered on a branch, their shapes small yet full of life. In a quiet backyard, that feeling can be captured not only by nature but also by imagination. Picture a row of cheerful bottle birds, perched together in the garden. Their round bodies gleam in the sun, their wings painted in colors of daydreams: sky blue, cherry red, golden yellow, and soft green. They are not born from feathers and nests, but from recycled bottles lovingly reshaped into companions for your outdoor space. The bottle bird family sculpture begins simply, with a collection of bottles cleaned and trimmed. The rounded base forms the body, while cut pieces from other bottles become wings and tails. A painted cap serves as the beak, and two small dots bring the eyes to life. With each step, the bird takes shape, and suddenly, what was once waste now feels alive with personality. What makes these birds special is their individuality. Each one is different, each one reflecting the hand that created it. A child might paint a bird in rainbow stripes, while a parent chooses soft, earthy tones. Together, they form a flock, perched side by side, as if singing a silent song of renewal. The act of making them is as joyful as the finished result. Families gather at a table, brushes dipped in paint, laughter spilling as wings are glued, eyes are drawn, and feathers imagined. It is a project that invites playfulness, patience, and a bit of whimsy. And when the birds are finally placed on fences, branches, or railings, the garden feels different, more alive, more welcoming, as though touched by a secret flock that belongs only to you. Visitors pause to smile when they see the bottle birds. Neighbors may ask how you made them, and children often want to add one of their own to the family. Beyond their charm, these birds carry meaning. They remind us that beauty does not always come from grand gestures, but often from small acts of care. That what we discard can return to us as something joyful, if only we take the time to see it differently. So the next time you hold a bottle, imagine the round belly of a bird within it. See the wings waiting to spread, the beak waiting to sing. With a little paint and patience, you can fill your garden with a family of feathered friends who never fly away, always staying to remind you of the wonder in transformation. As twilight falls, the garden begins to whisper. Shadows stretch long, the air grows cooler, and suddenly, in the quiet corners among leaves and shrubs, a soft glow appears. It looks like something out of a fairy tale. Clusters of mushrooms with caps glowing gently, as if lit by the touch of fireflies. Yet these magical forms are not born of forest lore. They are bottle mushroom fairy lights, made from simple plastic bottles given a second life. The process begins with bottles of all sizes. Their rounded bottoms become domed caps, while the necks or narrow parts serve as stems. Painted in cheerful colors, red with white spots, yellow, even emerald green, they echo the playful look of storybook toadstools. A few tiny holes drilled into the caps allow light to scatter in starry patterns. With a small solar lamp or LED tucked inside, the mushrooms transform into glowing guardians of the night. Crafting them is both practical and enchanting. Imagine a weekend afternoon, bottles spread across a garden table. Children dip brushes in bright paints, dotting white spots onto red caps, their laughter rising with each stroke. Parents fit the pieces together, slipping a small light inside. As the sun sets and the first mushroom begins to glow, there is a hush of delight, a moment when everyone sees the garden in a new light, quite literally. Placed beneath shrubs, along pathways, or gathered under a tree, these bottle mushrooms create an atmosphere that feels magical yet welcoming. They guide footsteps at night, cast playful patterns across the grass, and spark the imagination of anyone who wanders through. Guests often stop to admire them, asking where such enchanting lamps were bought. The secret, of course, is that they weren't bought at all. They were made with patience and care, from bottles most people would throw away. Beyond their beauty, these glowing mushrooms remind us of a deeper truth, that wonder doesn't need to come from expensive things. It can bloom from what we already have, from simple objects reshaped with imagination. In their quiet glow, they carry a message of sustainability, that light can emerge from what was once waste, and joy from the ordinary. So, the next time you finish a bottle, turn it upside down. See the cap waiting to become a stem, the rounded base ready to shine as a mushroom's cap. Add paint, add light, and soon your garden will hold its own patch of fairy magic, gentle, glowing, and alive with possibility. In the hush of a bright morning, where dew still clings to the grass and the garden begins to stir, a small family of turtles quietly takes its place along the path. But these are no ordinary turtles. Their shells bloom with succulents, tiny flowers, and sprigs of green, as if they are carrying little gardens on their backs. Look closely, and you'll see their bodies are shaped not from nature but from recycled bottles, lovingly transformed into whimsical planters. The bottle turtle planter is a DIY idea that brings together two joys: crafting and planting. It begins with a sturdy plastic bottle, preferably tinted green to echo the natural look of a turtle shell. With scissors, a wide opening is cut across the back, creating space for soil and roots. The bottle cap becomes the head, painted with a gentle smile or curious wide eyes. For smaller caps or cut pieces form the legs, giving the turtle its playful stance. Suddenly, a simple bottle feels alive with charm. The magic truly arrives when plants are added. Succulents fit perfectly, their low water needs making them ideal companions. Tiny flowers add color. Trailing vines spill gently over the shell's edge. Each turtle planter becomes a unique ecosystem, carrying life on its back, reminding us that growth can emerge even from what was once discarded. Crafting these turtles is a joyful family activity. Children love painting the shells in bright colors, some with polka dots, others with rainbow patterns, while adults fill them with soil and carefully plant the greens. Together, laughter and creativity fill the air. And when the turtles are finally placed in the garden, it feels as though a small parade of guardians has arrived, each carrying a piece of the earth with them. Beyond their cuteness, these turtle planters carry meaning. They remind us of patience, resilience, and the slow beauty of nature. Just as real turtles move steadily through life, these crafted companions encourage us to slow down and appreciate small acts of creativity. They whisper that sustainability isn't only about recycling, it's also about nurturing life and finding joy in the process. So the next time you hold a bottle, don't just see plastic. See a shell waiting to bloom, a smile ready to appear, a garden ready to be carried. With a little imagination, you can bring to life a turtle planter that carries not only plants, but also a story of renewal, one that grows greener with every passing season. As the light softens and the day begins to slow, we are reminded that beauty does not always arrive in grand gestures. Sometimes, it is found in the smallest details, the glimmer of painted wings in the garden, the gentle glow of a handmade lamp at dusk, or the quiet joy of seeing a simple bottle reborn as something extraordinary. These moments may feel small, but they carry with them a calmness that lingers, like the scent of flowers after rain. Here at TERAFLORA Studio, we celebrate this quiet kind of magic. Every project shared is not only about crafting, but about pausing, breathing, and noticing how the world transforms when we look at it with new eyes. A plastic bottle becomes a swan, a turtle planter a butterfly, and in that transformation, we, too, are reminded that change is always possible, that creativity can bring warmth even to the most ordinary day. As you take these ideas with you, may they serve as gentle companions in your own journey. Let them spark afternoons of painting with your children, evenings of planting with loved ones, or quiet mornings spent shaping small wonders with your own hands. These are not just crafts. They are moments of connection, of mindfulness, of love given form. If you have found peace, inspiration, or even a smile in what we have shared today, we warmly invite you to continue this journey with us. Subscribe to TERAFLORA Studio, not only to see more, but to belong to a circle of souls who believe in creativity, kindness, and the simple poetry of everyday life. Together, let us keep turning the overlooked into the unforgettable.